this classification limits in some ways these wineries. It's a pressure, it's a traditional system, so they have to fit this. So I'm sure that there are like expectations from this, and like this whole aura around it. So it's a huge advantage, but
Yeah, but it doesn't limit ourselves. I'll give you two examples. Uh, Pretty soon we're going to have a zero carbon cuvée.
mm,
Very small because it's very hard to be
yeah,
carbon neutral. But very small attempt, and I think it's a first step for us. So everything from the box, the ink, the everything make like this small batch will be carbon
mm,
neutral. Again, we classify growth 1855. We are some people call us aristocratic. We don't have to do that, but for us,
yeah,
it's nice to push ourselves and to see if we can achieve that. Another example, we have now ungrafted cuvée franc de
wow,
pied. Again, we don't have to do that. We classify growth.
yeah,
We can be just resting on our royal, thinking like, hey, we have these cool numbers 1855 on the label. That should be good enough. And no,
yeah,
we start having this. We made this wonderful wine that is ungrafted. So with the rootstock being,
yeah,
let's say French compared to American rootstock, with all the rootstock in France, pretty much. Um, Again, we don't have to do that, but with Laurent Fortin, our CEO, Cecilia, the winemaker, and the whole team, well, we thought it would be fun to challenge ourselves and to see how great and could be this ungrafted Cabernet Sauvignon. Try to travel in time and see like
yeah,
how's the Cabernet of Dauzac back in the day when there was only ungrafted wines, and how
yeah.
did it taste at the time of the classification? Again, we don't have to do that, but I think it's part of being alive and being innovative.
Wow, that's a very interesting experiment. Can't wait to try it. So, are you working on this, or you already have wines from the ungrafted
Oh,
grapes?
uh, we have a wonderful team for in the winemaking team. With Maud, Cecilia, Frédéric in the winery, and all the team, and all the worker that's been working there for. I mean, Frédéric has been. This coming year is going to be 30 years that he worked at the winery. So I let them do the production. For me, I'm in charge of distribution,
Yeah,
and that's already a big enough challenge. So I think it's nice to have a team do what they do best, and
yeah,
to let them do that.
exactly. But I was asking that are you already producing the ungrafted
Yeah,
wines?
yeah, exactly. The
Mhm.
2021 was the first vintage,
Oh,
and
okay.
that we don't age in oak, we age in this beautiful amphora. Um,
Mm,
and I think the idea is to try to see how not to impact the wine with oak flavor, but to have the purest expression of the original Cabernet Sauvignon.
yeah.
And it's just a wonderful wine. It tastes a bit like some of the Grace Burgundy, in this
Mm.
finesse and length and fruitiness, and it's just pure pleasure. It's very just amazing wine.
Wow, very interesting. So you can recognize you feel the difference between the ungrafted and the grafted wines.
Yeah, and it's hard because those like the end product is blend with Cabernet and Merlot, so already
Yeah,
there
for
you
sure.
have a
It's
different
different.
different
Yeah,
profile. But it's still about three-quarter Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's been aged in oak, so it's different. But there's this again finesse and pure expression of Cabernet is just wonderful.
very interesting. Dosak is quite famous about its innovations. Can you tell us more about these innovative technologies in the winemaking technology and some of these innovations that you have been working on in the last years?
Yeah, for sure. One that is pretty remarkable. When you go to a winery, has to open a tank. If it's empty, of course, there's no wine. And you will see most of the tank and some of the barrel, you see this power, which is a cooling system. So it's a way to control temperature, especially at the moment of maceration, when you don't want necessarily the fermentation to start right away and be a bit technical. But in a way, it's a way to control, just like when you cook eggs in a pan. You control the temperature. You can start whenever you want. You can go slow or faster. It's exactly the same way. But the first cooling system was at Dauzac.
Oh wow.
At the time when there was the Bernat family that own industrial ice company, and they own Chateau Dauzac also. And on a warm fall during the harvest, the grape was a bit too high in sugar and in alcohol, and the guy said, "You have to cool that down. It's too high." The guys had no idea. Nobody even cooled any grapes before, and they say, "I know how to do it." So first it was very rudimentary, but then it started, and then it got better and better, and then started. So now you see all this power in tanks, and started at Dauzac.
Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't know that that also was started at Dauzac. What about the see-through barrels, the fermentation barrels?
So that's a fun experience, a fun way to say how it started in a very in a purely aesthetical aspect. And I hope you guys come and your viewers come during the harvest, because we have this beautiful oak barrel with this glass double pane, so you can actually see through these barrels, and you can see how the fermentation works.
Yeah.
You can see the little bubble coming up, and it's just fascinating. I posted a video that took off recently about that, and I think it's just amazing. But again, purely aesthetical, fun, great. And a few years ago, there was this person who started this sort of stick that push air, called air pulse, and it's a way to avoid remontage, meaning to pumping the wine back to
Yeah.
the top of the barrel, and uh, and actually to have this glass see-through panel, we could actually see better how the fermentation started where. So it was a
Wow.
way to like have this stick going exactly where it's supposed to be, to take exactly the right amount of time. So again, starting from a purely fun aesthetical way, it actually helped us to make even better wine. And so that was great.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section, and see you in the next one.